Welcome the student athletes from the University of North Carolina. Closest to me, Mr. Black, followed by Mr. Love, Mr. Davis, Mr. Baycott, and Mr. Manick. Take questions here in the room and also from Zoom. If there are any, be sure to raise your hand virtually and we will get to you in a bit. Let's start on the left-hand side, in the middle.
Brady, you have considerable experience going up against Coach Drew's teams. What is a common thread that, even though the personnel may have changed, that they always applied on the court?
Yeah, they're always defensively sound. They're a really good basketball team, and he does a good job, whether it's defense or offense, getting his guys to play together. So they're going to be a tough opponent for us.
On the right-hand side.
I'll ask questions also for Brady. Just wondering, what's it meant for you to just be embraced by the Carolina community, fans, program after just 1 year here?
Yeah, it's special. It's very, very different than what I've been used to, and it's just awesome to be able to knowing that when I came in, I only had 1 year, but just getting accepted by everybody and just having an awesome year. It's been unbelievable.
Far right side.
This is for any of you guys. You've been deemed the Iron 5 on Twitter, just with the minutes you guys have put in. What does that mean to you, your toughness, and how have you been able to gel so well together as a starting five?
Mr. Black, you want to start on that?
I feel like it just shows how mentally tough this group is. Being able to play every minute of every game if we need to, really just shows how tough we are.
Mr. Love, you want to add?
Yeah, just like Lee said, us being out there, we got a lot of good chemistry with our five, and just us being out there, and it just shows how gelled we are, and how how defensively sound and offensively our chemistry is there and stuff like that.
Mr. Davis, your thoughts?
I just think our ability to stick together through thick and thin when things will go our way, or when things do go our way. We always talk about staying together. We're all we got, and our ability to like Leaky said, play every second, every minute for first half and second half. It just shows our toughness.
Mr. Baycott.
I think it's a lot of fun being able to play all those minutes. I like being on the court.
Mr. Manick, you want to finish the thought?
Yeah, it's a really good group of guys. We play well together, and we've had a good year. I don't want it to end yet.
Okay. I'm sorry, didn't see you there, Kevin.
This message is for, this question is for RJ. You guys were considered a borderline NCAA team following that home loss to Pitt. Since then, you've won 7 of 8, including the big win at Duke. What do you think kind of changed in this stretch for you guys to put yourselves in the position so that you're still playing and you have it and you're meeting Baylor tomorrow?
I would say our preparation and mindset going into practice, into the games. We knew the potential of this team coming into this season, and we just wanted to turn around. We know after the loss of Pitt, that wasn't the way we wanted to play. So from that point on, I think we just turned it the way around and started to compete, and everyone bought into the roles, and that's kind of what we've been buying into.
Next to last row on the right.
It's for Armando. Mondo, you've been systematically erasing Bryce's name from several records recently. Just wondering, it's kind of mean of you to do that, but have you had a chance to connect with Bryce about the double-double record or the rebounding record?
Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but, we see a lot of guys like Bryce and them, they come back during the summer, so pretty sure when they come back during the summer, it'll be some trash talking, and I'll mess with them a little bit about it.
Left side, second row.
This question is for Caleb. You've talked to us all season long, with the emphasis to shoot or shoot. But how important is it for you seeing that first one go down, and how much confidence does that give you against, kind of a tough start?
It gives me a lot of confidence, seeing that first one go through, and just seeing it go through the hoop. It just gives me a lot of confidence, and then it opens up the floor for everybody else. If I'm hitting, then it opens up the floor for RJ or Leak or Brady, and so it just opens up the floor. So if I'm on, then like I said, it just opens up everything else.
Stay on the left side, on the back.
This question is for any of you guys. Coach Davis is always talking about his stories and experiences as well as the staff of playing at Carolina. I was curious if he's mentioned the game from 1990 when Carolina, as an 8 seed, beat number 1 seed Oklahoma, if that has come up, anytime this week.
No, he hasn't mentioned that.
Coach Williams did, I think, last year, though. He was just telling us that it's been done before and it's something that can happen.
On the right in the middle.
Hey, Brady, I was just wondering, last season you went through some health issues with your lungs and getting COVID. What was that like kind of going through that? And then as you sit here now, how do you think about your decision to transfer here and how everything's gone?
Yeah, I actually got hurt against Baylor. That one hurt a lot. Mark Vital, that wasn't fun. But that didn't really have anything to do with my decision to leave or whatever. But just my decision to come to North Carolina it's been awesome and it's been amazing and it's been a great year.
Staying on the right side, one row further back.
Yeah, this one is for Caleb and Brady. So, of course, you all had a strong outside shooting performance yesterday, and Baylor in the game before did as well. So I wanted to ask, how much do you think the battle from downtown is going to impact the way that tomorrow's game plays out?
Mr. Love, you can start on that.
As far as on the defensive end, for us, I just feel like we just got to contain that drive. They're more of a driving team than a shooting team, but also contain the 3 as well. So we're going to do that. But on the offensive end, we're going to just take what the defense gives us, do whatever the coach tells us to do. As far as moving the ball, getting the ball inside to Mondo and Brady and them. So I feel like we're just going to stick to our game plan and everything else will work out.
Mr. Manick?
Yeah, I'd say our best offense comes from our defensive end. Us getting stops leads to transition points, guys getting open, and I think a big part of our game tomorrow will be how do we play defensively.
On the left side?
Brady, Coach Drew kind of jokes saying that the beard doesn't kind of hide the player that you are. He knows what kind of player you are. And one of their players said that you're a lot more aggressive when they watched you on film at Carolina. You're almost a year removed from last playing at Oklahoma. How are you different, and what kind of differences will they see tomorrow that some of those guys hadn't seen from you before?
Yeah, I'd say just confidence level of playing, making shots, having these guys trust me and throw me the ball. It's been fun, and I've been able to put the ball on the floor more, a little bit more. I wouldn't say freedom, but just a little more confidence of being able to put the ball on the floor.
Far right.
With this is for a question for RJ and Leaky. With your guys' assist numbers that you had yesterday, how can you try to replicate that performance tomorrow against a equally, if not more, athletic team in Baylor?
Mr. Black?
I feel like just getting the ball down low to Mondo first, letting them sink in. They're going to have to double them, I feel like. And that'll free up Caleb and RJ and Brady to hit the outside shots. And I feel like just starting low and starting at the rim and then being able to kick it out, that'll give Caleb and RJ more time to, shoot the ball. So
I would just say, playing off instincts, just letting the flow of the game work itself out, whether that's, getting the ball down low to Mondo, finding Brady, Caleb, open for 3 or, leaking in transition. So, just going to continue to our game plan and continue doing what's worked for us.
Staying on the right next to last row.
Building off of Gregory's question, Leaky, I know given everything you're asked to do defensively and shouldering that offensive load, how do you work at balancing both sides of the court?
I don't think it's hard. These guys are very gifted, offensively. So I feel like, it makes my job simple. I don't get the rest on offense, but so to speak, I feel like I do get the rest on offense and have to pick it up more so on the defensive end, and it just makes my job easier.
Questions for the student athletes? Okay. One more on the left, and then another on the right after that.
This is for any of you guys. Last week, after you guys lost to Virginia Tech, Coach Davis said that you thought you were physically tired. You've had some time off before yesterday's game, but you got to play a quick one again tomorrow. How much did the margin yesterday and some of you guys being able to come out a little bit early help the legs? And are legs a concern at all at this point?
We don't need everybody to cover bat, but maybe a couple of you just like to step up. All right, go ahead, Mr. Baycott.
I mean, I would say for most of us, especially with it being tournament time, like there's no time for us to be tired and make excuses for ourselves. I mean, we get a day of rest in between and then get a few days off and get to play again. So I don't think that'll be a problem.
On the right side. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Love.
Yeah, just to build off what Mondo said, as far as it's tournament time, it's win or go home. So if Coach needs us out there for 40 minutes, then that's what we're going to do. We don't care how long we out there.
Okay. On the right side.
You know, Coach Davis, his first season here, first win in the NCAA tournament for him as well as some of you guys. You know, what do you think it meant to get that for him, and do you feel like he's proven that he can be the Carolina coach, you know, for however many years now here on out?
It meant a lot. I think Coach Davis, you know, wants the best for us, and he wants us to experience the things that he experienced. You know, for us, you know, last year for the returning players, you know, the first round, first game wasn't the way we expected it. So, you know, coming into this tournament this year, we want a different outcome, and we're going to continue to, you know, improve and progress in the ways that we know we can. And so far, you know, I'm enjoying the experience.
Yeah, and I would say too, I mean, Coach Davis, I think just with this group and us just turning around kind of our season after the 2 losses versus Miami and Wake Forest, I mean, he's done a great job. And also with losing Ant, who was a huge piece to our team and definitely a guy, veteran guy we could have used towards this time. And also Dawson, too, not being here. That's like them two combined like 20 points off the board that we didn't have, and for us to just, you know, figure it all out and get to this point through Coach Davis. I mean, I feel like he did a tremendous job on the first year.
This is for RJ or Caleb or anybody who feels inclined. What are those Wilson basketballs? How much of an adjustment was it for you? What is it like playing with those? Is there a major difference, or are there just little subtle differences?
Mr. Davis.
I mean, they feel good. It's easy to pass, easy to make shots with. So, I mean, the feel of the Wilson basketball is not much of a difference.
Mr. Love, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, they got a good grip to them, so they do feel good.
Okay. Back on the right.
This is for any of you guys. Mondo just talked about Dawson. I was curious if any of you guys have had a chance to chat with him before or after the game yesterday. All right, enough said. Cool.
Anything else for the student athletes? 2 more? Right inside.
This is for RJ and Leaky. Mondo referenced the Miami and Wake Forest games. Sometimes it takes some adversity to kind of see what people are made of. Just wondering about Coach Davis, with this being his first year. After those games, was there anything that he did that maybe surprised you, and maybe how he changed his approach with you guys, you know, over the past 2 months?
Mr. Black, you can start.
Yeah, I think it was after the was it Wake Forest? I want to say the Wake Forest game. He came into the locker room the next day, and we all were thinking we were going to get chewed out, but he just came in super positive, you know, saying we still could, you know, accomplish all our goals, and I feel like that was like a turning point in our season, you know, just seeing how positive he was.
Mr. Davis?
I mean, definitely. It was after the Wake Forest game. He definitely came in with some positive words, you know, and the practice was positive. You know, we came in ready to work, and we all had a mindset of, you know, turning this whole thing around. It was a long season ahead. We still had a lot of games left, so he didn't want us to get too down on ourselves. It was just more about locking in and focusing on what we have to accomplish, not what everyone else is saying about us.
Okay. Anything else for the student athletes? Go to the right and then to the left for the last question.
This one's for Armando. Talked a lot about packing this week, packing ahead. These closed for 4 or 5 days. Have you thought about the next round of packing here? I know I'm kind of running out here after ACC tournament and getting here.
Yeah, no, not at all. I feel like that was kind of a lot of our problems at the beginning of the year, just looking ahead and looking forward. But, I mean, you can ask me that after tomorrow, and then I'll have an answer for that.
All right, back on the left, second row.
This question is for all of you guys. You guys have had some early games this year. Wondering what you think about the 11 o'clock start here Central, and when's the last time you played this early? Probably AAU.
We'll
I
start
love
on the
playing
end
this
with
early.
Mr.
12 o'clock games, that's like my favorite game to play because it's not much of a build-up to the game. You're not sitting around all day. You can just wake up, eat, and then go straight to the game. So I love an early start.
Anybody else want to add to that? No? Okay. If not, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Welcome head coach Hubert Davis of the North Carolina Tar Heels. No opening statement today. We'll just go straight to questions. Back right.
Hey, Hubert, you've had a limited rotation all season long. It's kind of something that you've adjusted to early on. Baylor has had more of a limited rotation down the stretch due to injuries. Do you think that's maybe a facet of tomorrow's game you might be able to take advantage of, them kind of adjusting to that?
Well, I mean, you know, Baylor is such a good basketball team. You know, they're outstanding defensively for two reasons. One, team defense-wise, their togetherness on the defensive end is really good, and then they also have good individual defenders. Offensively, they've got a number of guys, dynamic scorers that can create shots for themselves and for their teammates in a one-on-one situation. And so, yeah, our rotation has been limited pretty much for the majority of the season. But I really felt like Dontrez and Puff came in yesterday, and they gave us some valuable minutes off the bench. And so whether you play 1 minute or 30 minutes, you can do something out there on the floor that can be a huge benefit for our team. And I feel like guys off the bench, whether they do get 1 or 30 minutes, they've always come in and been able to make an impact. And my hope is that they will make an impact tomorrow against Baylor.
On the left, second row.
Hey, Hubert, have you gotten a chance to kind of wrap your mind around the things that happened last night? This is obviously a historic program, and a lot of program records were broken. So have you gotten a chance to kind of think about what you guys were able to accomplish on that front?
Not really. I haven't had much time to think about anything over the last 11 and a half months. And but I was very happy and very proud of the guys. You know, Armando, he's been here 3 years, and that was his first NCAA tournament win. RJ and Caleb and Kerwin are sophomores, and last year we lost to Wisconsin in the first round. So just to see their smiles, to see their reactions of putting North Carolina to the next round, that was something that was a great joy to me. And so that's the only thing from last night's game that I thought about was just I was just really happy for the guys, and just to see their smiles and how much they enjoyed the moment was something that put a smile on my face.
Right-hand side in the middle.
Hey, Hubert, I remember before the season we'd ask you about, you know, what your plans were for the job, and you kind of be like, look, I played, I've coached, I was in the media, I think it's going to be okay. But, I mean, first NCAA tournament win, I mean, even given all that, how much validation or just, I don't know, just knowing that things are working did you feel after last night?
I don't feel that way at all. As I said before, I look at this job as missionary work. You know, I've been given an opportunity to be the head coach of this program and be a part of this program for the last 10 years, and having a chance to play here. And every day I get a front row seat to be able to help out these kids, and it puts me in a place of humbleness and thankfulness and appreciation to be a part of their lives. And I don't feel any personal validation at all. This is 100% absolutely nothing about me. Excuse me. This is 100% giving back to each one of those players everything that Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge gave to me while I was at North Carolina, and everything that Coach Williams gave to all the players the last 18 years that he was head coach. It has nothing personal about me.
Front one to the left, Kevin.
Hubert, both teams like to value the transition game so much as part of their offense. And so I asked Scott about this, but from your perspective, what's going to be key for you guys to maybe try and limit what Baylor can do when it gets into transition, since that's part of what both teams' DNA?
Well, I mean, there's a number of factors that can keep a team out of transition. Number one is we got to take care of the basketball. You know, Baylor does a great job of creating turnovers, and earlier in the year, that was an area where we really struggled. And, excuse me, and teams were being able to score consistently in transition because we weren't taking care of the basketball. I think another factor is taking good shots. I think when you take bad shots, to me, bad shots are the same as turnovers. And so it's important for us to get quality shots. And then the last thing is it's important for us to make shots. You know, you start making shots, now they have to take the ball out of bounds, and they're coming up against a set defense. So taking care of the basketball, making shots, taking good shots, and also attacking the basket through post or penetration so that we can get fouled and get to the free throw line. Statistically in ACC, we're the best free throw shooting team in our conference, and so that's a big part of us from an offensive standpoint, but it's also a huge part for us defensively to make sure teams are playing against our set defense.
Second row on the right.
Coach, with Baylor losing Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua and what he does inside and on the boards and what Armando's able to do rebounding-wise, how have you seen, at least on tape, how Baylor has kind of adapted to having that one less big guy on the rebounding side?
Well, Baylor is the defending national champions and the #1 seed because they have more than one guy. They're an outstanding team, and one of the areas that they are terrific at is rebounding the basketball on both ends of the floor. It's something that we have talked about yesterday, today, in terms of trying to limit Baylor to one shot every possession, because we know that a huge part of their offense is getting second chance opportunities. For the same thing for us, one of the things that a foundation piece for our program is getting second chance opportunities. So I always say, let's get shots, let's get good shots. But if we get good shots, we're either going to make them, and if we miss, because of our pursuit for the offensive glass, we're going to get second chance opportunities. So it's a great matchup of two teams that talented teams that like to get out in transition, that like to get second chance opportunities, that get after it on the defensive end. And so it'll be a challenge for us, but we're really excited about the opportunity tomorrow morning.
On the left front row.
Coach, what kind of presence has Armando been for you guys, and just how has he opened up things for everybody else?
Well, it's having somebody that's consistently able to. Somebody thinks I need. Is this Sprite, water? Sprite. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Clint. Armando's just, everybody wants somebody that number one, can rebound the basketball consistently, and number two, can consistently score around the basket, and that's what he's been for us. I mean, the numbers that he has put up has been historic, whether it's in our program or just in Division I. I mean, his ability to rebound on both ends, stay out of foul trouble, be able to score consistently around the basket, and he's also a rim protector. So many times guards are trying to penetrate, get to the rim, and if he doesn't block it, he'll alter those shots. And so I'm really so proud of Armando, the work that that's the thing that you guys don't get an opportunity to see, is to see all the hard work that these kids put in the off season, the things that they do before and after practice, the things that they do before class, early mornings, late nights, and to see all that hard work come out in the way that he has played, it's really a pleasure to watch.
Right side, far.
Coach, this was a regional field with the three teams that have won more national championships than anybody, and then you have Kansas playing on the same floor with multiple titles, but Baylor is a defending champion. I just didn't know what you know about Scott Drew and what he's done at Baylor, and I mean, he's been there for a long time, but kind of developed it in the Big 12 and on this stage. What do you think of Scott, and what do you know about him?
Well, I got a chance to know Scott really when I was with ESPN. And spent so many times doing Big 12 games, and when I was on game day, we had one at Waco, and so was able to spend time with him there. Not only is he obviously an outstanding coach, just the way that he relates to people and to his players. They love playing for him. Obviously knows the game, but I think the foundation of what makes him such a great coach is his relationships with his players, and they play hard for him. And the success that he's had at Baylor is something that is not a surprise to me. He's somebody that any kid would want to play for, and I'm excited that we have an opportunity to play against him tomorrow.
On the left, on the aisle.
Hubert, Leakey has talked about the level of confidence the team has now, even after the ACC tournament loss. In what tangible ways have you seen the confidence level rise, make you guys better in certain areas?
Success. I mean, I think we've won 13 out of the last 16 games, something like that, the last 7 out of the last 8. And all the things that we had talked about and the things that we had worked on all year, for that to come out being successful in games, whether it's late game situations, execution throughout the game, it's really put ourselves in a position to be very confident about what we're doing out there on the floor. I've said this a couple times, that I said, this is the healthiest that this team has been all season, the most together that this team has been all season. And I really think that togetherness and the health of this team is built on the confidence that we're building throughout the year. This year was a year of newness. This is the first year that I was, head coach, and, had Brady and so many new faces. It takes time to build those types of relationships. And throughout the year, I just have felt us becoming closer together, and I think that is a huge reason why us as a team feel really confident about who we are and what we need to do out there on the floor.
Far right side.
Hubert, your team is 18-0 and it has at least 15 assists. So coming off the performance you guys had yesterday with 29, how can you try to replicate it and keep those assist numbers high with such an athletic Baylor team tomorrow?
Yeah, I really liked how we were sharing the basketball. One of the things that I always say is, we want, from an offensive standpoint, we want spacing and balance. and we want a combination of player and ball movement, and that's what we had yesterday. And when we're sharing the basketball and we're allowing everybody to play a part on the offensive end, I think we're very difficult to play. We've got a number of guys that can shoot the basketball. We've got guys that can penetrate and get to the lane and finish. And it stretches teams out. And, you know, another stat that I even tell the team is that I think we're 14-0 when Caleb has 5 or more assists. So that's something that I remind him before every game, is that I love when you shoot the ball extremely well, but when you're making plays not just for yourself but for others, that takes us to a different level. And then RJ, I think you set a tie or a record for assists in the NCAA tournament. Not only 12 assists but 1 turnover. It's just fantastic.
Left-hand side.
Coach, the guys have said a few times in the last month plus or so the value of what they learned the week of the Miami and Wake Forest games. And Leaky kind of reiterated here a few minutes ago the importance of how you approach them the next day, that being one of the turning points. Can there be something similar said about the Pitt loss at home, about something that was learned from that experience, maybe a reminder about awareness?
Yeah, I wasn't nice after the Pitt loss. Yeah, after we lost to Miami and Wake, it was like, guys, I love you. After the Pitt loss, I was like, guys, get over here.
Was there a similar amount of learning that they got from that, lesson they got from that, maybe a reminder about approaching things?
Maybe. You know, after we lost to Pitt, we watched tape the next day, and I put together 20 clips, and I showed them that 20 times from a defensive standpoint that we did something that wasn't drilled, wasn't coached, wasn't taught, and wasn't practiced. And I just told them, it confused me that we would try to do something in a game that we had not taught, hadn't talked about, hadn't practiced, and hadn't drilled. And then we went out and practiced, and we had probably our best practice of the season. And after practice, I said, why would you guys play this hard against each other and not play against an opponent? And they, for whatever reason, that seemed to resonate in them. And when we went up to Virginia Tech, we were more together than any time during the season. And we were up there to compete. And I really felt like that Pitt loss reminded us of the way that we felt on that bus ride coming back from Wake Forest, and that we didn't want to have that feeling again.
All the way in the back on the right.
Hubert, Baylor plays that aggressive no-middle defense. How challenging is that to get ready for in a day and a half? And is there any team you've played that you feel like has a similar defensive style?
Yeah, Marquette. They're very physical. Virginia Tech, very physical. Virginia, very physical. At Duke, very physical. And so, you know, we've played athletic, talented, physical teams throughout the entire season, and obviously Baylor is an unbelievable and awesome team, and it'll be a challenge for us tomorrow, but it's something that we're really excited about. It's something that we feel prepared for, and we're up for the challenge to be able to compete and see what we can do against Baylor tomorrow.
Staying on the right side, third row.
Hubert, Brady has a big game yesterday, obviously. What do you make from his story as a whole and the lessons that can be drawn from it?
Well, he had like 45, 50 family members here yesterday, and I was just really happy for him. His brother, Kellen, this was the first time that he got to see Brady play in person yesterday because he was going through his season. And so it's hard for me to talk about, to think about, and to put into perspective what Brady has meant to this team, to this program, and to me. For a kid that has never lived outside of the state of Oklahoma, for him in 5 days to commit to play for me, my first year as head coach, and to come to North Carolina, and for this relationship to fit as perfectly as it has on and off the court, I just don't think it happens like that all the time. It just doesn't. And I've said this 50,000 times. The only bad part about coaching Brady is that I only get to coach him this 1 year. I wish he would have a double COVID year or something that I could coach him again, because he's been fantastic. I love that dude to death.
Don't wish another COVID year upon us, Coach.
Well, not a COVID year. You know what I'm saying. Just no COVID year.
All right, let's stay on the right.
Okay.
Coach, staying with Brady, I know you as a staff will prepare the scout for them, but how much, if at all, do you guys rely on his on-court experience playing against Baylor the last several years?
Well, Baylor's, as great as they are, they're a different team than they were last year. We don't really lean on that type of experience from him in giving us insight into Baylor. I know that he's played them a number of times, and I know that he enjoyed his experience of playing in the Big 12, and to say that we're playing Baylor in the NCAA tournament is pretty cool. And so I'm really excited and happy for him. I know that he's had some battles with Baylor, and it'll be excited to see him play against a familiar opponent.
Time for two more on the left in the front row.
Coach, sticking with Brady one more. Coach Drew mentioned that he said, he can grow his beard out and try to hide, but we know who he is. Is there any magic in the beard? Have you encouraged it, or what's going on there?
I don't really care as long as he makes shots and continues to be the person that he is. It is long. He needs to get it cut. But I've seen pictures of him when when he is shaved and he looks 11. And so I think he grows the beard to seem like he's a little bit older, but his beard is long. But I do not mind, because the way that he plays and just the type of kid and the person he is, he's a joy to be around.
Okay, last one on the right.
That'd be interesting, because when I played at Carolina, I wonder what Coach Smith would do. You weren't allowed to have facial hair. So when I was in college, like, if you wanted to have a beard, you needed to go to Coach Smith and give him a note from a doctor that said you had a skin condition in order that you couldn't shave. So I wonder if Coach Smith would allow Brady to play. I would think he would. He would change that rule just a smidge for Brady to be out there.
Yeah, Coach. I wanted to actually ask you about Akinjo of Baylor. Of course, he's not as much of a outside shooter, but he's good at getting the rest of the offense involved over there. So, what have you noticed from his game in preparation for tomorrow, and what kind of challenges do you think that he presents in that backcourt matchup?
Well, he presents a number of problems. His athleticism, his ability to understand how to make plays not just for himself but for others. His quickness, his ability defensively to create plays and create havoc on the defensive end that allow them to be able to get out in transition. He's a fantastic player, but there's a number of fantastic players there. It's not about individuals for Baylor. They are great because they have a collection of great players. They're a terrific team. And so, and they're used to winning. They have a culture of winning. They're addicted to success, and that's why they're the defending national champions, and that's why they're a #1 seed. And so, as I said before, it'll be a challenge for us tomorrow, but we feel like that we have put ourselves in a position to step up to that challenge and to be able to compete and enjoy being in that stage and competing as well.
Coach, we've exhausted our time with you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll see you again tomorrow.
No more COVID year, okay? I apologize. Okay.